start with the biggest story of the day, and that is the news that DeWanna Bonner is no longer with the Indiana Fever. It was reported last night that DeWanna Bonner had no intentions on returning to the Indiana Fever.
DeWanna Bonner just walked away from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in a shocking move that rocked the WNBA. But her attempt to push for a trade to a new team has completely blown up in her face. Now, she's being shut out by the entire league. She's lost millions, and her once strong reputation is in ruins. This is the story of how a respected veteran unraveled her own legacy in just a few weeks, and the swift fallout that came with it.
She said, "I want to sincerely thank the Indiana Fever for the opportunity to be part of the Fever franchise. Despite our shared goals and excitement heading into the season, I felt the fit did not work out, and I appreciate the organization's willingness to grant my request to move on, particularly at this point in my career. I wish the Fever great success as they continue to build around this dynamic group."
The news first came out through a polished corporate-style press release. The Indiana Fever stated they had honored DeWanna Bonner's request for a contract divorce. In her official comment, Bonner offered polite thanks to the organization and vaguely mentioned that, despite aligned goals, the fit just wasn't right. She wished the young roster well as they continued to grow. At first glance, it appeared to be a mutual, respectful separation, a clean professional break. But beneath that courteous veneer was a far messier and more turbulent reality.
If another team claims her off the waivers, she gets her full salary. She gets her full salary if another team claims her off the waivers.
Behind the polished language, a respected veteran was walking away from her team mid-season, unleashing chaos in a locker room, desperate for stability. This wasn't about a poor fit. It was a clear decision to abandon a group of young, impressionable players who had counted on her leadership, leaving them to face the overwhelming media spotlight surrounding Caitlin Clark entirely on their own.
Thing that makes DeWanna Bonner look really, really bad. It makes DB look really, really bad. And it's the fact that she has told all other teams, other than the Mercury, don't sign her.
When a player's contract is ended in the WNBA, they go on waivers. That gives the league's 11 other teams 48 hours to claim the player and take on their full guaranteed salary. In this case, DeWanna Bonner's $200,000 for the season. For a three-time All-Star with championship pedigree, getting picked up should have been automatic. She was essentially a free veteran addition, a proven scorer who could boost a contender or mentor a young squad. The timer began, but when the 48 hours passed, the only response was silence across the league.
And look, I understand that's where she wants to go. Why didn't she go there in the summer? We know why, because she couldn't have got her max contract. And by the way, people are like, oh, they can give her the minimum. No, they can't. The Phoenix Mercury can give her a prorated $80,000 salary for the rest of the year. So she's only going to lose about 30K-ish.
Not one team submitted a claim. Every franchise in the WNBA assessed the situation and unanimously decided she wasn't worth the risk, even at no cost.
And she's only going to lose, she's going to lose about 40-50K, whereas they would have been only able to sign her earlier on. Well, they would only be able to sign her for nothing, because again, we can't forget as well, the Phoenix Mercury cut Sevgi Uzun. The Phoenix Mercury have a bunch of players signed on hardships and a bunch of players that they can cut. Like, they literally cap space magicked up. And as soon as cap space magics up for the the Phoenix Mercury,
that moment shattered any illusion of a mutual, respectful parting. It was a league-wide rejection, a glaring warning sign of how toxic her departure truly was. As the dust settled around her waiver status, details started leaking from behind the scenes. Bonner was allegedly pulling off a bold power move. According to insiders, she was directly contacting teams and urging them not to claim her off waivers. Her plan was to manipulate the system and steer herself to one destination, the Phoenix Mercury. The boldness of this strategy is staggering. We've seen top-tier stars like Jimmy Butler face major backlash for forcing exits. But here was Bonner, at 36, clearly in the latter stages of her career, acting as though she held MVP-level leverage. She wanted to dictate her next landing spot as if she were a free agent, conveniently ignoring that she had just walked out on a valid contract. She was trying to have it both ways, abandon her team, yet still control her future. But her master plan had one critical flaw, one that exposed the miscalculation at the heart of her gamble and turned her ideal landing spot into a looming disappointment. The Phoenix Mercury, the very team she had scorched bridges and alienated the league to join, were reportedly reluctant to bring her aboard. Sources revealed that Phoenix's front office had serious concerns about adding a player who had just showcased a blatant willingness to quit the moment adversity hit. The Mercury were riding high on the momentum of a young, hungry roster that had fully bought into the system and were exceeding expectations. Why risk unraveling that delicate chemistry for a veteran who had just proven she couldn't be relied on when it mattered? Bonner had left Indiana assuming Phoenix would welcome her with open arms, only to find the door wasn't nearly as open as she'd believed. The financial toll of this misstep was just as brutal as the damage to her credibility. By going unclaimed on waivers, DeWanna Bonner automatically lost the remainder of her guaranteed $200,000 contract with the Indiana Fever. When she finally signed with Phoenix, it was for a pro-rated veteran minimum contract for the rest of the season, bringing in roughly $80,000. The math tells the story. She willingly gave up over $120,000. This wasn't some calculated move. It was a disastrous, self-inflicted loss, driven by ego and an overestimation of her leverage. Her failed attempt to control the league's chessboard ended in a six-figure mistake, painting her as both selfish and deeply naive in the eyes of team executives and fans alike. But the consequences extended far beyond money and reputation. The real cost was felt by the person who needed her most, Caitlin Clark. When Bonner joined the Fever, she was promoted as the seasoned leader who would help guide the rookie star through the overwhelming spotlight of her debut season. In early practices and preseason games, Clark looked genuinely eager to learn from her, working hard to build chemistry and soak up the veteran's wisdom. Instead of offering that support, Bonner sent a clear message to Caitlin Clark and the entire young roster that when pressure builds and things get hard, it's perfectly acceptable to quit and walk away. It was a blatant act of professional abandonment. For one of the first times in her rising career, Caitlin Clark was essentially told by a respected veteran that she didn't want to share the court with her. That's not leadership. It's a betrayal of trust that left the league's brightest star and her team reeling. And this brings us to the most disturbing and controversial question of all. Was this entire move planned from the beginning? The timing is simply too suspicious to ignore. Bonner originally signed a headline-making deal with Indiana, placing her directly in the media frenzy that surrounded Caitlin Clark. For weeks, she enjoyed magazine features and packed arenas, reaping the rewards of the Caitlin Clark effect. Then, almost to the exact moment Phoenix miraculously cleared enough salary cap to sign a veteran like her, Bonner suddenly claimed the Indiana situation wasn't the right fit. It all feels less like a snap decision and more like a calculated scheme. Use Indiana for the paycheck and spotlight, then bail the instant your ideal team becomes available. If that's true, this isn't just unprofessional. It's a cynical and deceptive way to treat a franchise, its players, and its fan base.
But yeah, man. Asia Wilson, man, commanded $19.
Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle. She is the needle. And if you need any more proof of that, the Indiana Fever exhibition game sold out in just about 30 minutes.
Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces just got smacked with a harsh reality check. And let's just say, it ain't pretty. While the Indiana Fever's preseason game sold out in less than an hour, Asia and her crew are practically handing out tickets like they're free drink coupons at a happy hour. Caitlin Clark isn't just outshining the so-called best player in the WNBA. She's making the reigning MVP look completely irrelevant. Did Wilson forget to send out a group text reminding people she still exists? Did the Aces marketing team get too caught up in a free buffet? Whatever the reason, someone needs to call up Vegas's front office because they might need Clark just to fill the stands. And, let's be real, this is making Asia Wilson downright furious.
This, by the way, is driving Asia Wilson fans nuts. They're furious that this is happening on the same day. Why are they doing this? Oh my God, don't they realize the impact of Asia Wilson, blah, blah. What impact? Stop it.
Meanwhile, over in Indiana, it's total chaos. Fever fans are doing everything but camping out just to catch a glimpse of Caitlin Clark in a preseason game. The matchup, held at the University of Iowa, Clark's old stomping grounds, didn't just sell out, it sent ticket prices soaring into the stratosphere. Resale sites are going nuts, with seats going for thousands of dollars. The cheapest ticket left? A casual $400 to $500. That's right, $1,000 just to see Clark warm up before the real season kicks off. Fans are treating this like it's Game 7 of the WNBA Finals.
But yeah, it's a big situation again. Like Caitlin Clark selling out Iowa, sold out a preseason game. People saying it sold out in 40 minutes. This is within 20 minutes. Like obviously you couldn't get onto the damn website. It's sold out. You could have been trying to refreshing the page and not got tickets. Most of the time, it officially sold out in 40 minutes, but like realistically, it almost crashed the website.
But let's talk about what's going down in Las Vegas, because it's getting downright embarrassing. The so-called powerhouse of the WNBA can't even get people to cough up a measly $19 for a ticket. That's less than what you'd spend on a meal at a decent restaurant. At this point, the Aces might as well start handing out buy one, get one free deals just to fill a few rows. You'd think a team loaded with MVPs, All-Stars, and Olympians wouldn't have to beg people to show up. But here we are.
The Las Vegas Aces. So let me see how much it's gonna bust my pockets to go see the Aces in their first preseason game, man. $19, jeez.
The contrast is insane. In Indiana, fans are battling just to get a seat in the nosebleeds for the chance to see Clark's debut. In Vegas, you could stroll in late, grab some nachos, and still have your pick of premium seats. And here's the truth. This isn't just about ticket prices, it's about demand. People are going above and beyond to be in the building for Clark, while the Aces are over here desperately hoping someone, anyone, shows up to check out their so-called historic team.
I just want to point that out. As an Indiana Fever fan, I mean, there are people who are willing to pay all kinds of money to get tickets. There are people who are buying merch off, like flying off the shelves, basketball, all kinds of stuff. And they're begging to buy that shoe. That's why I said, Nike, I don't know what the deal is. I'm not into the contract or anything like that. They got something, whatever their agreement is, that's their agreement. I'm saying, though, when that shoe shows up, they better prepare.
Let's put this into perspective. The resale price for 2 courtside Fever tickets to a preseason game could easily cover a round-trip flight to Vegas, a fancy hotel stay, and a pricey steak dinner with enough left over to buy Aces tickets and still have cash in your pocket. That's how insane this gap is. Indiana Fever fans aren't just excited, they're part of a movement. Meanwhile, the Aces are over here practically begging people to take seats like it's some kind of charity event.
Remember, fans are for real Indiana Fever fans, and they buy tickets. They sell out arenas, home and away. They buy merch.
Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she flipped the entire league's hierarchy on its head. The Fever, a team that was barely on the map for years, is now the hottest thing in basketball. And the Aces? Well, they just got a brutal reminder that banners don't always fill seats. Clark is the future, and Vegas better hope they don't get left in the dust.
They're sold out, so I really don't know what they're gonna do about this. I guess it's just kind of like one of those missed opportunities, and you know, a lot of people are saying they need to move this to a stadium because there's no doubt in Iowa, if you move this to a stadium, it would be sold out.
Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces can try all the damage control they want, but the numbers don't lie. There's just no hype. Some will blame it on the market, claiming Vegas has too many entertainment options. But let's be real. Indiana isn't exactly Times Square, yet the Fever are selling out games at record speed, while the Aces are practically handing out tickets like free samples at a grocery store. 2-time champions, stacked with talent, yet their tickets are gathering dust in the bargain bin. That's not a market problem. That's an interest problem.
Did you see how many people showed up to watch Caitlin Clark play golf? With actual attention economics at play, Caitlin's participation in any league has an existential bearing. Nobody outside of Asia herself cares about whether Asia shows up.
Asia Wilson, the so-called face of the league, can't even get enough fans in the stands to cover the cost of a standard dinner bill. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, fresh off a history-making rookie season, has the entire world locked in to watch her every move. The Fever stock is through the roof, while the Aces are fading into irrelevance day by day. Fans aren't rushing to see Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, or even Wilson take over. They're lining up, paying top dollar just to catch a glimpse of Caitlin Clark putting on a show.
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Asia Wilson decided to answer anyway.
Let's be real. When was the last time you saw courtside seats for a reigning MVP going for under $20? That's unheard of. Meanwhile, Clark's games sell out in minutes, and the resale market is going crazy like it's a Super Bowl ticket. It's not even a fair fight. The Caitlin Clark effect is undeniable, and Asia Wilson and the Aces are just going to have to face it.
I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team.
Think about it. People are out here debating whether Caitlin Clark is changing the game, while Asia Wilson is struggling to fill an arena like it's open mic night at a coffee shop. The Aces thought they were the hottest team in the WNBA. Then Clark showed up, and suddenly, the entire league shifted to revolve around her.
Because Indiana Fever fans support, not just by running their mouth or running their fingers, they actually do something. And those who may not be able to afford it, they want to do something. And so this is just me saying, way to go, Fever fans. And we love, listen, remember how it was like nobody wants to go play in Indiana? Nobody wants to play with Caitlin Clark. Those fans. And we came to find out when free agency showed up, everybody wanted to go to Indiana and play for the Indiana Fever and play with Caitlin Clark. And when they got here, started praising the fans.
Aces fans love to pull the back-to-back champions card. But here's the real question. What's the point of being a dominant team if nobody's watching? You could stroll into an Aces game 5 minutes before tip-off and still snag a front row seat like it's a clearance sale. Meanwhile, trying to get a ticket to see Caitlin Clark play is like trying to score front row seats to a Beyoncé concert, gone in seconds. There are levels to this, and Caitlin Clark is showing she's in a league of her own. The WNBA's future has arrived, and the Aces just got left behind.
I shouldn't be surprised, and yet I'm still surprised because Indiana Fever preseason, not even like preseason, exhibition game, with the Indiana Fever going to play the Brazilian national team at Cover Hawkeye Arena, Caitlin's college facility, sold out. They went on sale this morning at 9 a.m. for Fever season ticket holders, Iowa donors, and Iowa season ticket holders for women's basketball. And then general admission was supposed to go on sale tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm hearing rumblings of like maybe scalpers got in, like the secondary market is already crazy, but it was sold out and a bunch of season ticket holders couldn't even get their tickets. Iowa Women's Basketball posted this on their Instagram and on their Facebook just a few minutes ago that, hey, it's already sold out. No point in trying to get tickets tomorrow for the general public because you can't.
Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball. She's rewriting the entire sports landscape. She's turning casual fans into die-hard supporters, with people who've never watched a WNBA game suddenly rushing to buy jerseys, lining up for tickets, and filling arenas they didn't even know existed. Meanwhile, Asia Wilson's games? It's like watching a midweek high school scrimmage. Half-empty seats, concession stands hawking 2-for-1 popcorn deals like it's a garage sale. Aces fans can scream about disrespect all they want, but the truth is simple. If the demand was actually there, the ticket sales would tell a different story.
We get to sit down with another legend today.
GOAT status.
I just want to read some accolades real quick before I introduce this person. 2-time NCAA champ at SC. Won the first 4 WNBA championships.
How many?
4 straight.
Okay, make sure.
Was the finals MVP of all 4 chips.
How many?
4.
Okay.
Yeah. 8-time overseas scoring champ. I mean, and that's just some of the accolades. Welcome to the show, the one and only, Miss Cynthia Cooper.
Cynthia Cooper didn't just hand Caitlin Clark her flowers. She rolled out a full-on red carpet, unleashed confetti cannons, and delivered a standing ovation broadcast live on national TV. It was graceful, heartfelt, and as rare as a WNBA highlight without controversy. Now, flip the script to Cheryl Swoops, who showed up armed with a bouquet of passive-aggressive jabs and shade so thick it could blot out the sun. This wasn't your typical sports talk. It felt more like a high school reunion gone sideways, except the cafeteria was a press conference and the grudges stretched back decades. Cooper's tribute? Pure elegance? Swoops? She just submitted her resume for the pettiest teammate of the century.
One word to describe Caitlin Clark.
Amazing.
Yes.
A beast. She is the truth.
Enter Cynthia Cooper, the Hall of Famer, the trailblazer, the unstoppable bucket who single-handedly pulled the early WNBA into the spotlight with nothing but pure grit and heart. When it came to the Caitlin Clark conversation, Cooper didn't just show up, she soared. Her praise was sharp, meaningful, and genuine, not some hollow, she's decent line. It was a true legend tipping her hat to the next rising star. Meanwhile, Swoops sounds like she's swallowed a foghorn, blasting waves of negativity every time Caitlin's name lights up the headlines. If jealousy were a stat, Cheryl would be running the league with no competition.
It's amazing how different somebody like Cynthia Cooper is to Cheryl Swoops. They played together, but the difference in the hateration, the pettiness, the jealousy that comes from one former player versus the other former player is stark.
Let's break down this drama, shall we? Cynthia Cooper watched Caitlin pull off those jaw-dropping moves, launching threes from the logo, dishing out assists that defy physics, and recognized pure brilliance when she saw it. She called it like a true legend. This girl's got it. Because honestly, she absolutely does. Clark's got the vision of Sue Bird, the range of Steph Curry, and the calm confidence of a veteran who's faced it all, and still smiles. Cooper saw all that and declared, "This is exactly what the WNBA needs." Meanwhile, Swoops is off somewhere furiously scribbling conspiracy theories on a whiteboard like she's trying out for the worst Netflix docuseries ever, Caitlin and the Case of the Inflated Stats.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
Let's not forget Swoops' laughable attempt to rewrite the record books. She claimed Clark wasn't the true NCAA scoring leader because of, brace yourself, an extra year Clark never even used. Yep, a completely fictional fifth year, folks. Meanwhile, Angel Reese could drop a stat line straight out of a blooper reel, 2 for 11 shooting, 6 turnovers, and a foul on every limb, and Swoops would still gush like she just uncovered the next Diana Taurasi. It's less analysis and more fangirl fantasy, but only when Caitlin's not involved. If Clark drops 40 points, it's witchcraft. If Reese stumbles into a double-double, suddenly it's greatness redefined.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
And Cheryl's takes aren't just bad. They're deafening, obnoxiously loud. While the rest of us marvel at Clark's on-court wizardry, Swoops is busy delivering keynote speeches at the anti-Caitlin Summit, treating recognition of true excellence like a betrayal to her era. It's as if she believes Caitlin's rise is a personal attack, instead of what it really is, a win for the game.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Cheryl Swoops is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese, Cheryl's so-called golden girl, just got bumped off her usual spot on the court. Why? because the Chicago Sky actually want to score some points this season. Thanks, but no thanks. In college, Reese thrived on putbacks and rebounds. Now that she's in a league where you actually have to make layups and rotate on defense, let's just say the Sky's stat sheets aren't exactly breaking the internet. And speaking of breaking records, let's talk cold, hard numbers. Caitlin Clark isn't just selling out arenas, she's outdrawing NBA teams in some cities. Reese, meanwhile, could throw in courtside seats with a surprise Drake cameo and still leave rows empty. Remember when she claimed she brought the eyeballs? Yeah, funny, because no one seems to be watching anymore.
And I mean, she's the truth, and she was a rookie, right?
Yeah.
Knock down the three-pointer, get to the rim. She can get to the free throw line. She's crafty.
Yeah, very crafty.
Crafty. So sometimes she look like she's coming off for a three-point shot and she backdoors you for a layup. She gets her teammates involved. She can pass. She can shoot. Man, she is the complete basketball player.
And while Clark casually rewrites record books and handles interviews like a seasoned media pro, she's still treated like she's gate-crashing the league. It's wild. People act like her success is some kind of glitch in the Matrix. Meanwhile, the old guard clings to their fading influence like it's the last Gatorade sponsorship on Earth. Since when did celebrating a rising star become such a controversial act?
So we all know these WNBA veterans, for the most part, has not been very welcoming besides your Sue Birds, your Cheryl Millers, and a few others. But when it comes to Cheryl Swoops and them, oh, there's some serial haters, bruh. Now, Lisa Leslie, she been all right, but she criticized the time too. But with all that being said, Cynthia Cooper made it her business to big up Caitlin Clark.
So here comes Cynthia Cooper, injecting a much-needed dose of sanity into the chaos. She basically said, "Can we please stop acting like recognizing Caitlin's greatness is a crime?" Just like that, she reminded everyone what a true legend looks like. Legends don't feel threatened. They get inspired. They pass the torch without torching the next generation. And while Cooper's out here raising the bar for class, Swoops is still stuck sulking, like someone just snatched her last championship ring.
You know what I want to see? You know, so many people talked about Sabrina and Steph, you know, with that three-point shooting contest. You know what I want to see in the WNBA All-Star game? I want to see Sabrina Ionescu shoot against Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see that three-point shooting contest.
Yeah, facts. That's dope. Hopefully it'll be there. It's in Indiana this year, right?
It's the same moment, seen through two very different lenses. Cooper looks at Caitlin and thinks, wow, pure brilliance. Meanwhile, Swoops squints, mutters something about cubic zirconia, and refuses to give a single clap. Girl, please. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing well, she's transforming the league. She's landing deals, filling arenas, and getting kids to rock Fever jerseys like they're the new school uniform. If that's not changing the game, then what is? And still, every time her name comes up, it feels like we're stuck in a courtroom drama. Objection, Your Honor. She's just too good.
Speaking of United Center, it'll also play host to a pair of WNBA games for the first time this season. The Sky announcing their matchups, hosting the Indiana Fever will be moved from Wintrust to the UC, has about double the capacity, so more tickets available to watch Caitlin Clark.
Why are only Caitlin Clark's games being moved to the United Center? Angel Reese recently expressed her confusion to reporters, visibly puzzled by the Sky's choice to upgrade venues exclusively for the Indiana Fever. The answer may sting a little, but sometimes the truth isn't easy to hear.
Well, what I do realize is that as of right now, no other Chicago Sky game have been moved to the United Center, except for one, Indiana Fever.
When a phenom forces teams to move games because 10,000 seats won't cut it, that's not just star power, it's economic reality. The Indiana Fever set an all-time attendance record last season with nearly 341,000 fans, while Angel's Chicago Sky are nowhere near that. Yet she still thinks they're equally responsible for growing the game. We've got all the receipts on this embarrassing arena situation that has Angel fuming.
So it looks like the Chicago Sky have finally done what we've been asking for, which was to schedule the games against the Fever at the United Center. And also, in case you weren't already aware, the United Center is the biggest basketball arena in the country. Both home games against the Fever have been scheduled at the United Center.
Did you catch how fast the Chicago Sky moved only Indiana Fever games to the United Center? The WNBA world is buzzing because the Sky are relocating 2 key matchups in 2025, both against Caitlin Clark and the Fever. This isn't just a venue change, it's a statement.
When Caitlin coming to town, man, all these teams are going to cash in on that. It's just the nature of the business at this point. One fan saying, let's go Fever taking over the United Center. I can't wait. The Angel Reese effect, no. They know better than to leave free money on the table when the face card comes to town. Yeah, man, because we remember last time Caitlin Clark was there, bro, the arena erupted.
What's fascinating here is the timing. The Sky played their entire 2024 season at the 10,000-seat Wintrust Arena, even during Angel Reese's rookie year. Yet, they never felt the need to upgrade, despite the hype around her.
It seems the Chicago Sky have had to move 2 of their home games to a larger facility, a larger basketball facility. I'm sure, no doubt, this is the Angel Reese effect. I've got no doubts, no qualms. There's nothing. She even told me herself right here that it's not just one other player, it's because of her too.
Now, with Clark coming to town, Sky president Adam Fox talks about rewarding fans' passion by moving games to a bigger venue. But if it's about loyal Sky fans, why just these 2 games? What makes them so special?
One of the hottest tickets in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark coming back to the city that she owns, coming back to Chicago after Chicago gave her such a warm welcome last year. They threw Barbie night for Caitlin Clark's arrival. They gave her pink towels. The fans were lined up on the side. She was signing autographs. How is Chicago going to welcome Caitlin Clark this next year around? How are they going to top Barbie night in a 9,000-seat arena? Well, easy. We move Barbie night to a 21,000-seat arena.
The numbers say what no one wants to admit. The United Center holds nearly 21,000, more than double Wintrust Arena's capacity. This isn't just a venue change, it's a business move that faces the uncomfortable truth about star power in the WNBA.
This is the motion that the Indiana Fever / Caitlin Clark have.
Chicago isn't alone. Teams like the Mystics, Aces, Dream, and Sun have all moved their Fever games to larger venues. See the pattern? They're targeting matchups with Caitlin Clark, not just randomly upgrading.
Caitlin Clark and Fever games getting moved to bigger venues on the road is normal at this point in time. We see it happen quite often whenever that Fever show comes to town. But in this case, it is interesting considering the opponent and considering the venue.
Fans' reactions say it all. Many are frustrated that only Clark's games are getting the upgrade, suggesting Angel Reese's draw isn't seen as big enough. Some argue that if Reese had Clark's popularity, more of her games would be moved too.
America's team versus a team who has the person who is the scourge of society. Oh, God. Oh, man. Quote, they watch for me too. Barbie night? Which one is Barbie night? You got to think one of the 2 is going to be Barbie night, right? Look at this. Laughing my ass off. Caitlin is really giving every single team a fundraising game. I am weak. My GOAT is simply different.
What's awkward here is how it contradicts Angel Reese's own narrative. She claimed to be an equal draw to Clark, but the Sky moving only Clark's games to the United Center sends a clear message about who's really filling seats.
We'll be moving to the United Center. So that's significant in the sense of it will be the first games ever played by WNBA teams in the United Center. The game's on Saturday, June 7th and Sunday, July 27th. One had a date change, but they will be moving to the largest capacity arena in the NBA. You know, more than double, I believe, what the Sky's typical home arena is able to hold. And of course, I mean, this is a duh for so many reasons.
The real question isn't why they're moving these games, but why just these games? If Angel Reese truly brought the same draw, shouldn't every Sky home game get the United Center treatment?
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
While Angel Reese claims she's equally responsible for the WNBA's growth, the turnstiles have been keeping score. Let's see if the numbers support her or tell a different story.
They will say this is because of Angel Reese. They can't say this because of Angel Reese, because for the simple fact, a lot of their games would have moved to bigger arenas if that was the case. They can't not say this. Like, I know people want it, and like, I know people be mad about this, bro. Like, y'all shouldn't be mad about this, bro. Like, this is just the reality of the situation. You're not a hater. You're not none of that if you say Angel's not as big as Caitlyn, because she's not, guys. That's the reality of it all, bro.
If Angel really had the same star power, wouldn't the Sky be moving all their home games to the United Center? Wouldn't every game featuring Reese be a sellout? Logic says that's what should happen if her claims were true.
Last year, the Indiana Fever were in Chicago, and a lot of us were asking, why aren't they putting this in the big arena? Are they really that stubborn that they're ready to just turn away dollars just for a narrative? Seems as if they got their end of their year report, looked at the bottom line and said, you know what? Slam shut. In 2025, we're gonna be in the United Center.
Last season's numbers tell a clear story. The Indiana Fever shattered the WNBA's home attendance record with over 341,000 fans in 2024, 36% more than the previous record set by the New York Liberty in 2001. This wasn't just growth. It was a seismic shift in how many people are paying to watch women's basketball.
And the Fever are going to be over 200,000 higher than the next highest total attendance in league history.
Clarkonomics, my friend!
Real shocker? The Fever broke 20,000 attendance 3 times in 2024. The Sky, with Angel Reese, never did. In fact, Chicago's attendance record dates back to 2016, when Angel was still in high school, years before her college debut.
Guys, I'm telling you, when Caitlin Clark comes to town, put it in the big arena, because she is box office, and it is going to be big money. Not even just the ticket sales, merchandise sales, concession stands, parking. Dude, they are racking in money from every area when Caitlin Clark comes to town. So of course, the Chicago Sky, oh, fine. I guess I'll milk that well until it's dry.
The gap is clear in head-to-head matchups. When Clark and Reese faced off, ticket prices skyrocketed, with some seats reselling for thousands. But games with just Reese don't command the same demand. Sky tickets for next season are still cheap, while Fever games are already sold out.
There's a very thin line between hate and facts, and what I believe to be the case is that there was incremental growth in the WNBA comparatively to the exponential growth we are seeing now. What I'm about to tell y'all I haven't heard before, so I doubt you have either. Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership.
Angels games averaged 9,000 fans last season, half of the Fever's 17,000. The WNBA saw a huge attendance spike with Clark, and the Fever averaged 36% more fans on the road. Even the league admits Clark drove over a quarter of last year's revenue. That's not just star power, that's game-changing influence.
Yeah, let me tell you about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark has brought so many eyes to women's basketball that it's amazing. A dude named Acho, I forgot his first name, is something Acho.
Emmanuel Acho.
Yeah. He showed how in 5 days before the draft, she made the WNBA more money than they would have made in the next 5 years without her.
This isn't about undermining Angel's talent. She has her own following, but when you claim to be on par with someone pulling in double the crowd, the numbers don't lie. There's a big difference between claiming to draw fans and actually filling seats.
Again, as of right now, to my knowledge, that what I've seen, no other Angel Reese games have been moved due due to potential attendance for said game. I mean, I'm just pointing that out. I'm not sure if you're allowed to. I've been told, Angel Reese told us it was because of her too. They're coming because of me.
Sky aren't about loyalty, they're about business. Basketball franchises rely on revenue, and when one player draws significantly more fans, it's clear which way to go. It's not favoritism, it's about following market demand. Caitlin Clark is a proven draw, and the Sky are making smart, revenue-driven decisions. In business, numbers matter more than any narrative.
$366,000 right here. Let's see if we can get a closer look at this card. It's a good-looking card. I'm not going to lie to you. Wow, that's bananas.
Did you catch that $366,000 price on Caitlin Clark's rookie card? No, that's not a mistake. Someone actually dropped more cash on her card than most people spend on a home. This isn't just a record, it's a whole new benchmark, surpassing Serena Williams' previous record for women's sports cards. So, what's the takeaway? Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves in the WNBA, she's the wave.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark, and once again, proving that she is the driving force.
The numbers don't lie. While some might downplay her impact, that $366,000 speaks volumes, louder than any critic ever could. And wait until you hear what experts predict her cards could be worth in just a few months. It's staggering.
Once again, showcasing that when it comes to everybody else, they are a distant second. Who that is for sure in women's sports, I don't know. But at this point, it's pretty clear Caitlin Clark is driving the bus and driving the sales.
So, what's behind the jaw-dropping price tag? This isn't just any Caitlin Clark card. It's a 2024 Panini Prism WNBA Signatures Gold Vinyl Prism rookie card, graded PSA Gem Mint 10. And here's the kicker. It's a one of one, the only card like it in existence.
Every time Caitlin Clark, one of her trading cards, one of her sports cards breaks a record, and we've got a new one, and it is freaking ridiculous. I mean, this is crazier than hell. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Pause and think about that for a moment. In a world where thousands of sports cards are printed daily, this one card is completely unique. It's no surprise collectors shelled out $366,000 for it. That's not just some spare change, it's life-changing money for most people.
A new record for any women's sports card. Final sale in this 2024 Panini Prism WNBA Signatures Gold Vinyl Prism Caitlin Clark signed rookie, one of one. There's only one of these in existence. It was a PSA Gem Mint 10.
Let's put this into context. Prior to Clark making her mark, the record for the highest selling women's sports card was held by tennis icon Serena Williams, with her card fetching $266,400. What's even more impressive about Serena's card is that it included a piece of her match-worn gear. Now, Clark's card, which only features her signature and a flawless card, no jersey swatch or equipment piece, shattered Serena's record by an impressive $100,000.
We had the record for a WNBA card. This passes the record for a woman's sports card period that was previously held by a Serena Williams card, and this was sold for about $100,000 more than the Serena Williams card.
What makes this even more incredible is how fast it all happened. Clark has barely finished her rookie season, yet most athletes take years, or even their entire careers, to achieve this level of value in the collector's market. But Clark? She's rewriting the playbook faster than she sinks three-pointers.
It sold for $366 freaking $1,000. I mean, wow. What can you say about this? That almost leaves me speechless.
The card itself is a masterpiece. Its gold vinyl finish glimmers in the light, giving it an almost lifelike quality. Her signature is flawlessly positioned, and the card's immaculate condition earned it the prestigious PSA 10 grade. Any collector knows that the one-of-one label is what sends bidding wars into overdrive at auctions.
The cost of her trading cards is, again, evidence of this. and her most recent one went for a record.
But there's something much bigger at play here. This isn't just about a beautiful basketball card. Card experts see it as something far more profound. It's about owning a piece of what many consider a pivotal moment in women's sports history. People aren't just collecting a card, they're investing in a cultural revolution.
It is a 2024 Prism Gold Vinyl Rookie 1-of-1 auto, which means it's autographed. 1-of-1 obviously means it's the only one in existence, and someone paid $366,000 for it.
Remember when Michael Jordan rookie cards skyrocketed in value? It wasn't just because they were rare. It was because people saw they were witnessing history in real time. The same thing is happening with Clark right now. Collectors aren't just betting on a rookie, they're betting on a revolution.
A new record for a female athlete. Caitlin is the needle. There we go. I think I just said that. Smashed the old record held by Serena by $100,000.
The previous owner snagged this card for $236,000 just 4 months ago. In less time than it takes most people to pay off a car loan, it surged in value by $130,000. That's not your typical appreciation, that's a financial rocket ship.
This one was $130,000 more expensive than the previous high.
What makes this card truly stand out isn't just that it's shattering price records, it's creating an entirely new market. Before Clark came along, women's sports cards barely registered on most collectors' radars. Now, they're the hottest commodity in the hobby, with dealers scrambling for inventory and collectors racing to build their Clark collections before prices soar even higher.
What is it going to be like? Look, what are these cards going to be like in 5 years when she's got a championship, a couple of MVPs in there, etc., etc.?
This meteoric rise has completely shaken up the collecting world. Shops that once tucked their WNBA boxes out of sight are now proudly showcasing them front and center. Online forums that barely acknowledged women's basketball now have entire sections dedicated to Clark cards, complete with discussions and price tracking.
I'm fairly confident we're headed towards a $500,000 card at some point. We're not that far away now. I mean, we're $140,000 away now.
Those shop owners aren't just rearranging their displays for fun. They're scrambling to keep up with history in the making. What's happening with Caitlin Clark's cards is nothing short of unprecedented. She doesn't just hold the most valuable WNBA card ever. She owns the top 30 most valuable WNBA cards in history. Let that sink in for a moment. Not just the #1 spot, but the entire top 30. Such market dominance is unheard of in any sport, male or female.
Clark has the top 30 WNBA cards, at least. So, and the boxes for WNBA cards, like the one over my shoulder, are selling at the same level or at a higher price than NBA cards because that Caitlin Clark rookie is in there.
Clark doesn't just have the top WNBA card, she has the top 30 at least. The boxes for WNBA cards, like the one sitting right here, are now selling at the same level, if not higher, than NBA card boxes, because that Caitlin Clark rookie is inside. And if you think this is just a case of collector mania, here's the real kicker. WNBA card boxes are now fetching the same prices, or even higher, than NBA boxes at many stores. This is unprecedented in sports card history. Boxes that couldn't give away a year ago are now prized treasures, with shop owners who once stashed their WNBA stock in dusty corners now showcasing them front and center. And the best part? They're still selling out within hours of hitting the shelves, breaking records as they go.
Angel Reese did things last night I'm not sure we've ever seen on a basketball court. I was like, is this real? Did this happen?
Angel Reese just had one of the most humiliating performances of her career, and it wasn't just about the numbers. It was the way she completely unraveled on the court. From careless mistakes to needless aggression, Reese put on a meltdown that left everyone stunned and speechless.
The Lunar Owls crushed the Rose BC, and Angel, well, she did some rather interesting things on the court. And Nafesia Collier, well, look now, one thing we could say, they are not afraid of Angel Reese and the Rose BC, because after hitting the game-winning shot, Nafesia had some real words towards Angel Reese.
But the real highlight? Nafisa Collier had seen enough of Reese's antics and decided to show her a lesson in the most perfect way possible. If you want to see how to shut down a trash talker, you're in the right spot. Stick around, because we're diving into every laugh-out-loud moment that revealed Angel Reese for what she truly is, a player more concerned with drama than real basketball.
Angel Reese looks like a very dirty move under the basket.
Spot draws two, sling it, Reese!
Angel Reese entered this game with her usual swagger, acting like she was ready to dominate. But it didn't take long to see she was more focused on showboating than actually helping her team. Instead of playing smart, she spent the game trying to intimidate her opponents, tossing reckless passes, and making one poor decision after another.
She's going to go in, and then after she hits it, she's going to bark her head off at Angel Reese.
8 to shoot. Diggins Smith matched up by Gray.
Right there.
To the ball. Collier
Game winner.
it.
Look at her. She's talking mad.
Queen Bee.
Mad.
Angel Reese was on Nafisa Collier, giving her a bunch of frustrating bumps.
Let's dive into the numbers, because, frankly, they're laughable. Reese turned the ball over 7 times. Yep, you read that correctly. 7 turnovers. And these weren't just small slip-ups. We're talking about some of the most absurd blunders you'll ever witness at the pro level. At one point, Reese launched the ball right into the backboard, grabbed her own errant pass like she was playing a solo game of catch, and then stood there looking utterly baffled, as if she couldn't believe what had just unfolded.
Angel Reese rebounded her own pass. I saw this and was like, this can't be real. Angel Reese thought she was playing dodgeball out there.
Reese's overconfidence really caught up with her as she launched some of the most absurd shots you can imagine, completely off the mark. When she wasn't airballing, she was out there trying to play bully ball, repeatedly shoving and body-checking Nafisa Collier, all in a desperate attempt to get under her skin.
Angel was 8 for 16 for 17 points, 10 boards last night, 7 turnovers. Nafisa Collier right here, 7 of 16. She had 16 points, 9 rebounds, but she had the most important thing, the game winner last night.
But here's where the real fun kicks off. Instead of letting Reese's antics rattle her, Collier did exactly what a true pro would do. She stayed locked in, kept her focus on the game, and absolutely exposed Reese for the fraud she is. Every time Reese tried to get physical, Collier answered in the best way possible by lighting her up on the scoreboard.
I mean, Angel Reese is out there looking like a UFC fighter.
If you're a hoops fan, if you're a basketball fan, and you watch this, I don't give a shit if you are an Angel Reese fan. You can't tell me this is not egregious.
They're doing everything they have to do to sell this league.
Angel Reese's desperation hit a peak when she pulled off one of the most awkward defensive plays of the game. Trying to muscle her way into position, she completely lost her balance and crashed to the floor like she was auditioning for a role in a B-movie. The best part? The refs weren't having any of it. No whistle, no foul. Just a cringeworthy moment that had fans facepalming.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
Social media didn't hold back, quickly roasting her for that ridiculous flop. Fans were quick to point out that for all her talk about being a tough physical player, she sure crumpled like a paper bag when it worked in her favor. It was another harsh reminder that while Reese loves playing the villain, she doesn't exactly shine when the heat's on. Instead of stepping up and asserting her dominance, she turned to antics that only made her look more out of her depth.
This is Angel Reese, the content creator side. It's pretty clear basketball is her top priority. I cannot imagine how anybody could view this athlete in any other way. It's clear basketball is front and foremost. This is all helping with things like shooting better from the field and missing layups. She has no rhythm, just like she can't make a layup. Practice layups. OnlyFans incoming.
Meanwhile, Nafisa Collier stayed locked in, letting her game do the talking. While Reese was flailing for attention, Collier was racking up buckets, showing why she's one of the best. Every time Reese tried to rattle her, Collier responded with pure skill. And just when it seemed like Reese's night couldn't get worse, she panicked and threw a pass right into an opponent's hands. Another turnover, another wasted chance, another embarrassing moment.
I think Angel's more concerned about being an influencer, content creator, over being a better basketball player. This was her taking pictures, hanging out with some rappers and producers, etc.
You think you could get a bucket in this format, full court 3-on-3?
You don't think I can get a bucket?
Yeah.
If Angel Reese on my team, yeah.
By the end of the game, the contrast between the two players was painfully obvious. Collier was the epitome of professionalism, calm, collected, and clutch when it mattered most. Reese? She was nothing more than an overhyped mess, letting her emotions control her every move. It was a night to forget for Reese, but for fans who've watched her antics all season, it was just another glaring reminder that she's nowhere near the superstar she claims to be. This loss wasn't just another tally in the column, it was the brutal exposure of her reckless, undisciplined play. While she's built a brand on trash talk and drama, games like this lay bare why she's nowhere close to the level of true stars like Collier or Caitlin Clark. The difference between all the noise and real talent was put on full display, and in the end, Reese walked away with nothing but yet another humiliating loss.